In this channeling session, I will be channeling from two subscribers or followers who wrote in with questions that they would like the Druids to answer. Katherine Flynn, and I channel the Druid consciousness. And each week I bring forth questions from our followers or subscribers with information for them to help answer their questions. And even if you have not submitted a question and would like to, feel free to follow me and subscribe to my newsletter. But it also allows for everyone else to connect in with something. So just because it wasn't your question doesn't mean there isn't something for you. If you found this or are listening to this, there is a reason for it. So the first question I received is from Ron. And Ron is nearing retirement and has really been stepping into the spiritual space. He says he's been reading tarot cards. He's been setting up really a path for him to use as he kind of winds down his regular work career to move into that retirement world and do more things that are calling to him. So he says that he's wondering, is there anything that he needs to adjust or change? And he says it feels like he should possibly be doing more or perhaps differently, but he is just quite unsure. So that's the first question we're going to touch on. And then we're also going to touch on a question with a similar topic later on. So give me a moment to get into this space. So, to answer the question of that, is there something more? Is there something different? And this is where we would say that not only for Ron, but for anyone out there who is feeling this shift into a new space, that is wanting to rely, to lean into something, it is truly about letting your soul lead the way. It is about going to what resonates you. And for this question and example, we would say that he is leaning into what calls to him, what feels right to him, but it is about trying to also get the mind out of the way. Are those feelings that something needs to change and something needs to shift? Is that coming because there truly is a shift that's happening or things need to be done differently? Or is it the mind that is getting in the way, that is telling you something that shouldn't be there? And this is for everyone who is feeling that way. For the soul that always pushes in one direction, it's always going to guide you and lead you where you need to be. It will always work to walk on your path, fulfill your purpose, and be called to do different things. But it is the mind at times that is telling you that we should do it differently or it needs to be adjusted. So the first step is to figure out, is this the soul speaking or is it the mind speaking? Or is it an outside source, such as the guide, trying to relay information to you? And when you're feeling this shifting in where you are at, it is about really leaning into the soul to say, where am I pulled? What is it that I would like to lean into? Because that will allow for so much more to come through. That will allow for this understanding, this knowingness, and this oneness to truly root into the earth, to allow for things to come forward, and for each of you to have this sense of where you are. And you say, well, how do I lean into the soul and get the mind out of the way? Well, the first thing is always meditation. We know that. The second thing is to allow for you to go to bed and ask your soul to give you the answer in the morning. You wake up and the first thing that comes into your mind is the answer. But there are many people that overthink it and judge it, are unsure of it. The next thing is to try different ways, try different options. Go one direction. So, with this example, perhaps you move down the path of spiritual business and work, but then you also learn down a path of maybe something a little different that could be there, or you adjust it slightly. Test them out. There's nothing to say you can't test them out to see which one calls to you more. What do you do more? The same way an artist can take a painting and they paint brushes and they start painting. But if they feel a calling to draw instead and use pencil, they can say, well, I can do both and see where I'm going. And maybe they find that over time they have more success with pencil. They enjoy it more. It's easier to travel with. And so that becomes really their purpose. And they still may dabble in the painting, or they may just do it at a certain time of a year. But it really allows for that movement forward and it allows for them to see where they're at. So don't let beliefs or judgments or opinions to get in your way. really lean in for it. And we are very happy with Ron with the direction he is taking this and how he is leaning into this place and time. For that will really allow for more to come through for him and really allow for this shifting and this oneness and this knowingness of what is there. Because we always enjoy when people follow what is in their heart and soul. It is great when you do that, for the soul is able to more expand and ascend when it is doing this work on earth. It is better able to work through things that it wanted to when you are following your path versus forging your own. And some people may say, well, how do I know I'm following my path? Maybe it's something different. Well, that is when you really need to lean into, where are you called? What calls to you? What do you enjoy? What is it that brings you up? And a path and a purpose doesn't necessarily have to be this bigger topic. It doesn't necessarily have to have this huge, large, expansive answer. For some, it can be they are a nurturer and they find that they always had a pet when they were a child and they have children now that they nurture and they help take care of their parents or their grandchildren, or maybe they became a nurse or something where they took care of things. Well, that could have been just their purpose. For someone else, it could be just to make people smile and be happy. And so they find they go out and they're just happy with most things. They're just a very positive person. And so these are things that maybe aren't, that you wouldn't look at as a grand purpose, but they are still a purpose nonetheless. It is about each of your soul's growth. So when you get back to someone like Ron, who is looking for where he is going, how he can shift, what maybe he can get into, or what maybe he doesn't want to get into, it is about listening inward to really see, what is it that I'm looking for? Where am I going? And how am I going to get along that path? And trying different things. We are very excited and happy that he is trying something different. The same way we would tell anyone that feels stuck or unsure to lean into what they enjoy, lean into what it is. Maybe it is building something, maybe it is creating something, or cooking, or being outside, or even something, it could be something as simple as, putting together a flower arrangement, or just going for a drive or going for a walk. But when you can lean into those things that call to you, that will help you find what you're looking for. It will help that joy come to the surface, and it will help each of you have a better sense of where you are, where you're going, and how you're going to get there. For the beauty of each person leaning into what they like is that there is this sense of, you will find peace and happiness. And know that if you are feeling pulled in a different direction and you really go inward and you're not getting the answer of what is coming through, what is happening, perhaps that is because you need to feel a little of unease, because the next something new is coming in. And when that next thing comes in, you'll be ready to jump on it. So when you look inward, make sure that it is not the mind trying to tell you what to do, that it is not an outside force, that you're going inward saying, okay, what am I missing? And might be that it is getting ready to come down the road to you and it has not yet arisen. Because if every being was perfectly happy and joyful and loving where they were in life, if something new came, everyone would say, no, I don't need that. I'm happy. I like where I am. I like where I'm going and doing. But this is about each person really being able to lean in. And this is what creates change. When someone feels a little unease and they're ready for the next thing, or they get bored, or there's a dis-ease to something, it allows for the next thing to come through. So keep that in mind as you are making these shifts in life, as you are getting ready to blossom into this new path that he is taking, or any of you are taking. For it really will lean in and allow for this information to come through. And as that comes in, it will really assist everyone in coming forward and allowing for each of you to have the peace, the hope, and the joy that each of you are looking for. Mhm. Well, I loved how the Druids really spoke on, lean into what you're feeling that maybe you're unsure of, or that something needs to change. And know that sometimes there is something different coming down the road, that we feel that unease because we're ready for the next thing. And so, Ron, from what I heard, it sounds like you're on a really good path and you're really moving into something great. And for those of you that this message resonated, know that you can just continue to do those steps to really allow for this to come forward, that it will really bring forth so much more information, and that hopefully it will lead you to being on your path of happiness, joy, and wholeness. So our next question came from Lori, and this is another little bit of a long message, and I like this so they give me a little context around what's going on in their lives. But I am going to condense this a little bit for everyone. So um, she wrote in that she's very connected to Da Vinci and Merlin and a lot of those types of energies. And she's been having bad and good memories about being with them. And she's been working on clearing that. And she's also working on clearing a lot of the energy around that, bringing forth information, being exiled, having to adjust, and not really living in her path so much. So in her current life, she started to follow her passion, creating natural healing, free energy, utilizing old knowledge, and spiraling with the movement of air, water, and light, which I love. As you guys all know, I really tap into the elements and use their energy so much in my work. She goes, so I'm wondering if I'm on the right path. So just like Ron is feeling a lot of this energy and this shifting, it sounds like Lori is too. So let's see what they have to say for Lori. Well, you are remembering many of your lifetimes because it is about clearing the energy that is there, but it's also about remembering what you knew within those lifetimes. It is bringing forth what needs to be cleared or realigned for you to know where you need to be. And so, as you are walking this path of opening all of this up, it is good for you to lean into that knowledge, for it is a remembrance that is coming forward for you. But you are also feeling the sense that there is someone that is getting in the way, which you had mentioned to us as well. And that is part of this path, is you are almost reliving some of the patterns of before. If you look back to many of your lifetimes and how they turned out when you were bringing forth the greater knowledge, when you were working on healing people, and when you were working with magic, it was bringing forth that knowledge, that wisdom, that energy to allow for a greater good for all around you. And you are feeling this sense of being pushed back, partly because of what you had experienced in other lives, but partly because of the lifetimes that the two of you had experienced. And this is really due to the fact that there is so much more coming in this lifetime, that you are looking to be stronger and more steadfast and more rooted in your work. And so, as all of that is coming in and happening, for you, it is about this sense of how can you break a pattern? And how can you, as a soul, see that no, I'm ready to break through this so that I can live in my path and my purpose and really get to where I need to be? And so, as you are sensing this, as you are feeling this, it is about you having this knowingness that you are exactly going down this path. And we don't want you to stop. We would prefer that you keep shifting forward, but really look on who you can align with, who you can rely on, who has the same initiatives, energy, goals that you do, and that you works within the same vibrational place that you do. For this really allows for that alignment, things to go farther and longer and have more substance to them. And so the key is you just maybe aligned yourself with those that aren't quite right for the alignment of where you are at. And so just the same way in other lifetimes you had to shift that or change that or move that, now is when you have to do the same as well. Now is when you just need to relook at that alignment. And you don't need to exile, you don't need to change. It's really looking inward to say, how does this need to shift? Or how would I like it to shift? And so, because of that, we would like you to kind of go backward and say, how, let's rewrite how this is going to look. Let's rewrite how this is going to be. And ask for guidance, not only from your guides and the energy and us and Da Vinci and Merlin and all of the magicians that are out there, but really say, how can I rewrite this so it is truly authentic to me and to the path I want it to take? And when you can lay that out and have that creation to it, that is when you will find the resources will come to you. You will find that you'll be introduced to a certain person. You will meet someone else. An opportunity will come up that will be like, I never thought of this before, or a resource. And so it is really about stepping back and rerouting this whole thing. And that is not to say that there are times where people won't get with a partner and they will create something and then they will be able to take it very far. But the key is to make sure all of your energies align, all of your purpose and all of your frequencies are truly in alignment of where you want to take something, because what your end goal can be of where you want it to be might be very different from someone else, but you don't understand that. Or you're walking down a path and then all of a sudden you're saying, well, I need to go this way, and they're saying, well, we know we need to go this way. And so that is when there is that misalignment, and so you've just hit some kind of misalignment that isn't really allowing that to flow back through and come back in again. And so, as that happens, and as you notice all of this, it is for each of you to have a sense of where you are and really lean into that and really know that as these things are coming together, that you have the ability, the skills, and the knowledge to take this. It is about digging back inward, clearing some of those patterns and beliefs that are there from your past lives and the energies, reassessing where you are, where you want to go, and really then laying that out there and asking for assistance to allow for that to come together. And when you do things out of love, gratitude, kindness, that is when it will open up. Not out of lack, not out of jealousy, not out of I want the popularity or the fame that comes with it. But when you are aligned right, you will find that. And you will come to find that those that are successful, most abundant, and most prosperous work within that realm. And yes, this isn't just from a surface standpoint, because you will say, well, there are others that don't follow those that are very, very happy or in their world. But are they truly happy? For when you are living your life within your purpose and you have shifted through many of these things that we will call obstacles, when you can really truly live in that, that is when you will find that you are where you need to be. And you just won't find happiness, you will find joy, you will find prosperity, abundance, pleasure, and so many more energies that just make you enjoy life all around. And that is because you are living your purpose in alignment to the right reasons, living in love, joy, peace, and wholeness. And so, as we answer this for you and for all that are there, we want each of you to understand that there is so much more alignment. There is so much more coming for each and every one of you. But it is about being open to what is possible, because anything is possible. And when you are open to anything and allow for things to come in, you will then come to find that it will all sit well. It will all sit exactly where it needs to. And you will find your life will change exponentially. Well, I really liked what they said about really following in your path. And I think this is a time for you, Lori, to really dig into where are you taking this and are you aligning with the right people or not? Go back to the drawing board. I myself have done it many times. I've gone back to the drawing board and said, what am I looking for out of this part of my life? Where am I taking it? And really sit within that joy and space that is there. So know that you are moving in a good direction, but go back inward. Find that new mindset. Find where you want to take this and who you're going to align with. And it may be slightly different because as you can clear out some of that past life energy, you'll find it'll come to you. So I want to thank both Ron and Lori for sending in their questions this week. And as a reminder, if you have a question you want the Druids to answer, please send it in to me either by replying to my newsletter or shooting me a message, and that I can then go ahead and get your question onto our list that we have. Again, feel free to follow me at the channeled source on all of the different platforms. And then thank you for watching this. And as a reminder, feel free to like and subscribe as well so that you can get notices each week when there is a new channeling that has come forward. So I hope everyone finds peace and joy in this upcoming week for each of you, as there is so much new coming in, as we each find alignment to live a happy, healthy, wonderful life.